So my son's never left the hospital in 2 years. He's been in ICU. Where do I even start? Okay, this is partly where I did the video this morning, and I'm going to post to your page about when a child is so severe. But this is my specialty. This is when I wish I could crawl through the computer. So there's going to be things that you're going to be working on. First of all, due to the equipment, the sounds, the lights, the buzzers, it's not that he can't roll over. His system doesn't even know it's possible. Those ranges of movement aren't not even kicking in. So we're on full-on initiation mode. However, we have to initiate like with micro movements. Let me explain. So when you're working with your child, now I've done other videos on this. I really need to do a course on all this. I need to do about 15,000 courses, but on how to initiate all around the face. You've got cannulations, tachoderms, you've got the swelling that's going on with his system. We need to get that back into play, his respiratory. So the course will be the oxygen, the breathing course, right? It's a free course that I do. But at the same time too, this is the touch though that we're gonna use, right? When you are like this for so long, and we see it in elderly, we see it, whoever is in a bedridden case, the gravity itself is just so fierce on their system. I can't even begin to tell you, when I say that the touch is like touching butter and not leaving a fingerprint, it is that soft, that gentle. You really have to do it at that level. And I'm telling you, sometimes I might be down here. Now, he's in a bed. You might not be able to get this close to him. You might have to lean over. Get a pillow over the bed rail, or whatever you have to do. The first touches you're going to do, and it might seem like, why am I doing this? I get it, guys. He just has to even know it's possible. It's like doing CPR on every cell of his body. You're just going to go around and start. Another way of looking at it is like when you're touching a sponge and you come back and you're letting that water come into it. But I can't even begin to tell you, the moves are literally going to look like this. They're just that soft and gentle for him, because right now his system, because any touch you give, if you go to lift him, everything that you do, he's going to be literally like screaming because you're pushing him against gravity. It's like gravity's this big, imagine like there's an imaginary Elmo on top of him, right? And every time I go to move, this Elmo is just gets for every movement up, this Elmo gets heavier. This is really what's going on when gravity is the absolute dominant. And it is because the cellular system of the body, the respiratory system, nothing is trying to even think about opposing gravity in this. And so I can't even begin to tell you just again how gentle this is. It's the number one comment that people get when I feel up a parent. They go, it's really that soft? I have practitioners around the world. Yale's watching right now. I don't know where you're at. I'm in Phoenix, but you know, but you've just got to go that soft. Now, that tachoderm, all the facial bones, the cranial bones, are being attached as one because of the tachoderm. Now, I'm not saying don't have him on respiratory responses, but you have to go around, and you might get better guidance from my feeding and swallowing course. But again, I cannot even begin to tell you, until you work his whole body, we're not even going for a lift. Right? So I get it that I teach water bowl to come underneath like this. Right now, no, because I don't want that kind of response from him. And you can be in any position, by the way, guys. You can be like right here. You know what I mean? Like you can be like, you know, and just hi, sweetheart, and just talking. You can have your music going next to him and all of this sort of stuff that you do for comfort. But any kind of where the IV is gone, all of this, because that's where you're getting the swelling, because he just doesn't have all of that. You know, again, notice I'm not lifting the arm. Now, if he suddenly goes to move his arms and he's up a bit, you're going to be right here underneath and just support it, right? But don't say, yay, that's great, and go for more. Right now, I want every movement that he makes, every, from vision to whatever, to be successful, right? And I don't want it to be like, oh, I went from here, oh, now you made me do this. That's not successful, right? You know, or if he finds comfort, and this is where you'll just see me sometimes, and people are like, no, don't grab Miss Michelle's hair. I don't care. This child is not going to hurt me in any way, shape, or form. But he's getting that neurofeedback of I can touch something and get a response. I'm going to also post a video of a child that I did. He happens to have SMA. It doesn't matter what a child has. Notice the touch. This child, when I first started with him, was completely unresponsive. 43 seconds into it, I had movements from the hands. I knew I was into his nervous system, and I just went with it, right? You'll just see, like, the whole session, I'm just literally just doing, in a sense, like a CPR to the body. I want a good week or so of this. Erin might be able to help you. Her child was born 6 weeks in the NICU. I think in 6 weeks she did 125 hours of movement lesson on this child. And they were all like, we can't believe how well he's doing. But his stats, you know, all those kind of things, he still had issues with his blood count, but movement-wise, they're like, wow, he just looks like a baby. But he just, that's what you just have to start out with. I'm just not even moving my child. He can be sound asleep. He can be wide awake. You can be in any position, you know, that you're here. But I'm telling you, I can't stress this enough. It'd be like me working on this like elephant. See, there's a softness to it. I'm not looking to push in. I'm just looking to literally, again, like if I'm doing like a CPR on a little tiny hummingbird, right? You're just that gentle rotational touch. That's all you're doing. You're starting off with the breathing course. And I'd like to do the head and swallow because of the tagoderm that's around the face and what that's done. Just try that out. Get comfortable. If you have to post new videos of like, hey, this is me doing it. How does it look? Post them up and we'll start having a conversation because, sorry, moving my camera around. Okay, listen, I can't stress enough that they're there to keep him alive. They're there for medical reasons. That is your number one priority. But there's medical and there's movement, and they've got to start jiving. I know you can do it, right? But that just think of this. For every lesson you're giving him, you're that closer to that helplessness that you've had by sitting around there for that long to start to dissipate. You're going to get to know him better. You're going to get to be able to have better conversations within the parameters of his health and his well-being within the hospital setting. And you can do this. But if I lose you, I lose that baby as far as time and movement and so forth. So I'm not here to overwhelm you. I'm here to give really concise stuff. It's easy. It's gentle. You can do this. But if you need help, post up and say, hey, is this right? What am I doing? Whatever you need. And let's see if we can start making some gains with his medical, because you're going to see his stats changed. I mean, I've done it constantly in the hospital. You see a child in distress and all their numbers come down. As a matter of fact, when Erin first met me, I wouldn't say she didn't believe me, but nobody believes me right off the bat until I have to prove myself every time, which is fine. And her daughter was at 135 heartbeat, and so she was always on the top of whenever she left the NICU setting, she always knew where her daughter was. And one day she goes, my daughter's not there, and she's just looking all over, and she dropped down into the 90s. So she came into the normal ranges. So she was and she goes, okay, I don't know what this lady's doing, but I can see it's changing. Even that little 875 gram baby that I worked on in Bhutan, that was one thing I wish I'd had someone had the phone on the equipment to see her go from distress on. You're there. You should see oxygenation changes. You should see any of those things. Keep an eye on them. And to see that, when he's being worked on, do his stats change, and you can start getting that neurofeedback to yourself about how it's working. Right now, we're not looking for rolling over. We're looking for, can he initiate movement? Okay? He doesn't even know technically how to lie down. He needs to learn how to establish movement. Thanks.